welcome to episode 76 of Piv's NXT Point of View podcast. My name is Bill Pivets. So after missing last week, as I was in Boston visiting Fenway Park, knocking that stadium off my list. If you guys don't know, I'm trying to visit all 30 baseball stadiums, but that's another topic for another episode. I am back with the go-home show and the week before of NXT, and then I will do my NXT TakeOver Brooklyn predictions as well. Yes, I had to make Bobby Roode's theme song the intro this week. I didn't get to do it last week when he debuted, so I figured I'll do it this week because it is a, dare I say, glorious theme song. It's probably my favorite one. It's awesome. So, quickly recap the episode that took place on August 10th. Bobby Roode walked out of William Regal's office, congratulating him, thanking him. They announced that Samoa Joe and Mojo Rawley was the main event. William Regal was in the ring and set up for the contract signing between Asuka and Bayley. They mentioned that Asuka hasn't lost a match yet. I was surprised at first, but that obviously makes sense. They're not going to have her lose a meaningless match. So having her undefeated up at this point is awesome. When they were in the ring, Bayley listed off the women that she's competed against: Emma, Charlotte, Carmella, Sasha Banks, Becky, all of them. She said that Dallas was her nightmare. When Asuka won, she said she's going to do what no one's done before and defeat Asuka. Asuka took the mic saying that Bayley doesn't have what it takes, and Asuka wanted to shake Bayley's hand, but she shoved it away and walked past her. She got back in the ring, and the two stared at each other face to face. That's the one thing that NXT does better than WWE is these contract signings. They're simple. They don't go too long. There's usually not a brawl, even though the last couple have been, but it makes these matches feel very important, and they're not as campy as the ones on Raw or SmackDown. First match was the Authors of Pain versus, I forget his first name, Nails and Rob Risen. I'm not going to go into detail. You know who won this match. The Authors of Pain were going for an attack after the match, but TM61 ran down and the four went at it. But unfortunately, TM61 didn't last too long as they were quickly manhandled. Shinsuke was asked about angering Samoa Joe. He said that he isn't hard to find, but Joe shouldn't worry. Nakamura will find Joe when he wants to. Second match, Andre Cien Almas against Angelo Dawkins. Graves on commentary tried making a Kevin Durant joke about switching teams, something along those lines, but it really bombed. Almas, I think, would be a much better act in NXT if he was a luchador similar to Kalisto. They kind of need something like that on the NXT roster. I mean, that's the one thing that they're missing, I think, to have all the bases covered. He did land a nice springboard dropkick and then his running knees in the corner before winning with a hammerlock DDT. Really nothing special. Like I said, Almas is good in the ring, but his gimmick is so-so. After the match, Bobby Roode did come out. He was clapping for Almas. He was congratulating him, not for his match. He kind of insulted his ring work. He congratulated him by getting a match at TakeOver Brooklyn against Bobby Roode. So that's another match, Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas. Should be an interesting match. Two completely different styles. Cien's more high-flying luchador. Bobby Roode's more ground-and-pound brawler style. Should be good. I'm looking forward to it. Austin Aries walked into William Regal's office, brought up the fact that he doesn't have a match for Brooklyn, and Regal said, yeah, you're right. It's a shame that you don't, and he's going to be facing Noah Jose at TakeOver. Third match, Billie Kay versus Liv Morgan. Morgan missed a spin kick, and Kay connected with a big boot off the ropes to get the win. A little sloppy, a little paint by numbers there. Didn't really look comfortable with some of the spots. It's a new day in the women's division, as I mentioned 2 weeks ago, and it's not looking too bright. We then got highlights of the Johnny Gargano-Tommaso Ciampa match from 2 weeks ago on the Cruiserweight Classic. If you haven't seen that, check it out. Also, I'm going to talk about it here as well. The Kota Ibushi-Cedric Alexander match, probably my favorite match of the tournament so far. Amazing. Just amazing. Speaking of Ciampa and Gargano, they were in William Regal's office. Regal said that he wanted to make sure that them facing off in the tournament didn't ruin them as a tag team, since they will be facing the Revival at TakeOver. Ciampa said that they're better than families, they get to choose each other, and he continues to choose Gargano as his partner. I like these two guys a lot, very relatable, have that best friend brotherhood type thing going, and this is probably the match, probably Samoa Joe Nakamura, but this is the second match I'm looking forward to at TakeOver. Another Ember Moon vignette aired. Fourth match was Tucker Knight and Patrick Clark versus Ciampa and Gargano. Obvious win here for Ciampa and Gargano. They won with their running knee and kick to the back of the head combination. Highlights of Hideo Itami's return later on. Mojo said Samoa Joe's messing with the wrong guy, and he's bringing the fight to Joe. No more hype. Tonight's about getting even. Samoa Joe defeated Mojo Rawley. Mojo was pretty active in the beginning. He was taking out Samoa Joe, sent him to the outside. Joe sidestepped him, sent him to the steel steps, and took control. He went for the muscle buster. Mojo blocked it, but he caught Mojo with a slam in the corner and then locked in the coquina clutch to get the win. He was calling out Nakamura and locked Mojo in the clutch again. Nakamura's music hit. Out he came. Security had to separate the two, and Nakamura teased Samoa Joe. He grabbed his nose like he would do to a baby, and then he slapped Joe across the face, and Joe just was beat red at this point. He was held back by at least 10 security guards, and that's how the show closed. Decent show. The contract signing and the Nakamura-Joe segment at the end were probably the best parts of the match. Matches themselves, pretty basic. 4 out of 5 of them were glorified squash matches. It just seems to be what's going to happen before TakeOver. They're not going to do anything drastic. They're just building up these matches because we pretty much have the card laid out. Brooklyn's looking good. Definitely not as good as last year when I went, but I'm not going to complain either because there's new faces and new matchups, and I'm looking forward to seeing these guys in action. So as of this show, we had Joe Nakamura, Bailey Asuka, Rude Almas, Revival Ciampa, and Austin Aries Jose, and Noah Jose. So I get to see some of the old TNA guys. I get to see Shinsuke Nakamura in person. Get to see Asuka in person. I'm loving it. All right, so we're on to the episode that aired on August 17th, the go-home show to TakeOver Brooklyn. I do expect a lot of video packages and some hype for TakeOver, and that's pretty much what we got. However, the show did kick off with Hideo Itami versus Mustafa Ali, another competitor from the Cruiserweight Classic. Itami was in control for most of the match, but Ali did catch him with a nice neck breaker as Itami was entering the ring. After a nice jump kick, Itami landed multiple strikes and kicks and a drop kick in the corner before winning with his running knee. Another showcase match for Hideo. They really don't have anything planned for him right now as the TakeOver card was obviously made before he was able to make his return. But I do expect things to pick back up for him after the TakeOver special and leading into whatever one in October, November, whenever the next one's going to be. We did get a nice Bobby Roode video package and another long video build-up for the Asuka Bailey match. That was amazing, just leading up to where they are now from their first match. Their first match in Dallas and the injury to Bailey, which forced Nia Jax in the title picture, and then everything culminating from the contract signing to now. More video packages. We got another one for all the rest of the for the rest of the matches on the card. If WWE does one thing right out of anything that they put on TV, it's these video packages. The music choices, the segments, and the cuts, and the theme behind them. They do a really good job. This one highlighted Bobby Roode and Cien Almas, even though that one just kind of started a couple weeks ago. The Austin Aries No Way Jose feud and that build up, the Revival against Ciampa and Gargano. So it's been a decent build up for TakeOver Brooklyn. William Regal was addressing the crowd about NXT and TakeOver and how excited he is for it when Billie Kay interrupted. She said that she needed to be on the card after she appeared on SmackDown, and I think she won her match last week. William Regal agreed, similar to what he did to Austin Aries, and booked her in a match against the debuting Ember Moon, which I still have no idea who she is. The second match and the main event of the show, technically, was a 6-woman tag match with Liv Morgan, Nikki Glenn Cross, and the returning Carmella against Mandy Rose, Daria Baronato, and returning Alexa Bliss. Yep, Alexa Bliss and Carmella are back, even if it is for one night. They should, honestly, I think they should still be down in NXT. I've mentioned this before. This women's roster is completely gutted. Besides Asuka and Bailey, and I think Bailey's pretty much done after TakeOver. They really don't have anyone. I think Asuka, Alexa Bliss mini feud would have been nice, and then probably giving Carmella and even Nia Jax, she'd still be on the NXT roster. Having those four kind of as the I don't want to say 4 horsewomen, but as the new kind of core 4 for the NXT women's division would have been nice. However, this is what we're stuck with. Nikki was getting the better of Alexa, who then tagged in Daria, and she was in control as they went to the first commercial break. Daria clotheslined a Liv Morgan, and the heels took control, beating down Morgan in the ring. She was able to make the hot tag to Carmella, and she laid out everyone. Things broke down. All 6 women did some spots. Mandy was rolling up Carmella, but she kicked out and then transitioned into her submission to get the win. Average match. Nikki really didn't do much, and I think they spent way too much time wearing down Liv Morgan. Nice to see Carmella get the big win here, but she's on SmackDown. I don't know why they gave it to her. They definitely could have give it to Liv or Nikki just to build one of them up as one of the next rising stars in NXT. But again, that's their choice, and Carmella and Alexa will be back on SmackDown next week. As far as the crowd, they really didn't seem too invested in the other 4 women. I mean, they kind of know who Liv is, but I guess the other 3 women could be because Mandy, Daria, and Nikki all made their debut on this match, so they really weren't invested in these characters. There's talent in this division. The women are talented, but they just need to develop some characters and a secondary or tertiary storyline outside of the title picture like they used to. So it's going to take a little time. But the real main event was a sit-down interview segment between Samoa Joe and Shinsuke Nakamura that was moderated by Byron Saxton. Saxton was seated between the two competitors with about 8 or so security guards and William Regal standing behind him. Byron asked both men if they were excited for TakeOver. Joe said he was. It was 1 year ago that he made his debut. Nakamura is excited to be in his first main event and to challenge for the title. Joe said his major issue with Nakamura is how quickly he got the shot. Joe said that he had to take out everyone that got in his way. He beat Sami Zayn. He carried Balor through the Dusty Classic. He even brought up the fact, and I found this comical, that when Bayley wanted her rematch, Regal had to check with Asuka, and as Joe was saying that, he kind of shot Regal a look, who looked down at the floor. So that was pretty funny. Byron then suggested that Regal may not want Joe as champion, and Joe kind of agreed with him, saying, hey, that might be the case. Saxton brought up that Nakamura has been calm and might not be taken this serious. Nakamura rebutted, saying that calm's really his style, and he'll be serious in the ring. Joe mentioned that these two have crossed paths before. He's saying that he respects Nakamura, what he's done, but not the person himself. Nakamura stared down Joe. Joe grew frustrated. He stood up. He wasn't having any of the head games, and the security guards held him back, and they actually escorted Joe out before he did anything, and that's how the show ended. Interesting segment. I liked it. I was afraid it would go on too long considering how much time they had left in the show, but the show ended, I think, 8 minutes early, so it was like 7:52 Eastern time when the show went off the air. So that was a good spot to end it. I was afraid, especially with Nakamura not really cutting full-length promos in English, that it would be a lot of dead air, but Byron and Joe did a really good job filling that empty space. Saxton did bring up some interesting points that I liked, especially with Joe and Regal's past, and Regal might not wanting him to be champion. Nakamura obviously did his usual head game stuff, trying to get into Joe's head, having him doubt himself heading into TakeOver. And this match, it's going to be amazing. I have no doubts about that. So yeah, that was the 2 weeks of NXT that you might have missed, that I missed last week's episode. So I wanted to get back on board with that. Now I'm going to do my quick predictions for TakeOver Brooklyn, which, as I mentioned before, I will be there in person, second year in a row. So I'm going to start at the bottom of the card, work my way up. I'm going to assume it's going to go Austin Aries, No Way Jose. And I think the up-and-coming babyface in No Way Jose will get the win here. Austin Aries can afford to put the guy over. And that'll be the ending of this feud. Ember Moon will defeat Billie Kay, new debuting superstar. They're obviously going to give her the win there. Bobby Roode versus Andrade Cien Almas. I'm going to go with Bobby Roode. He's probably the number 2 heel on the roster, outside of Samoa Joe and not counting the Revival, because I think they're pretty damn good. I'm going to go with Bobby Roode. Might cheat to win, might not, but I'm going with him there. Tag team title match, the Revival versus Tommaso Ciampa and Johnny Gargano. This is really tough for me. I want Gargano and Ciampa to win, but the Revival have just been amazing, and their heel run, I like them a lot. I'm going to go, as much as I want Ciampa and Gargano to win, I'm going to go with the Revival. Having Gargano and Ciampa in chase mode, it's going to be that much better when they do win. Asuka and Bayley for the NXT Women's Championship. Asuka, I think Bayley's NXT days are numbered, and this is Asuka's division to carry. And now for the main event, Samoa Joe versus Shinsuke Nakamura. I am going to go with Nakamura here. I think it's time to pull the title off Joe. He might be going to the main roster. If he does, great run in NXT. If he doesn't, the rematch between these two is going to be that good. And same with Ciampa and Gargano. I think Nakamura chasing Samoa Joe for the title would be just as good a storyline. I think Joe getting his revenge, trying to get to Nakamura, will be even better. So he's a new babyface of NXT. I think in Brooklyn, biggest crowd, he'll win the NXT title. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Like I said, I am going to NXT Brooklyn. I will record a show most likely Sunday afternoon, Sunday night-ish, with my reaction to that. They are going to be taping the next week of NXT before the Brooklyn show. I won't recap that. I'll wait for that to air, so I don't want to do any spoilers for that. But my next show will be probably Sunday afternoon, recapping NXT Brooklyn. All right, guys, thanks for checking out the show. I'll be back Sunday. Peace.